is the Rugged Road Adventures. I'll give you the very, very short version and then the long version. Uh, the Rugged Road Adventures is an outdoor consulting company to help you book your dream hunt, and also running a deer processing facility out of my house here in Coopersburg, Pennsylvania, the 5C unit. The long story now goes back years ago when Newton was a freshman in high school. I was his teacher, and I had a friend call me, I guess even years before that. And it's a real cool story. You see him in most of my videos. We were cops in New York together. He worked day tours, I worked midnights. And then one day I got the biggest buck I had ever gotten in archery season. And I brought it to work with me, and I was all excited. And most of my coworkers are like, "Oh, why would you shoot that little thing, killing these poor animals?" And I was kind of kicking rocks, walking out in the morning, and my buddy Jake walks in, and he was like, "Wow, you got that with a bow? Where'd you get that? PA? Oh, PA's great." Instantly became friends. We exchanged numbers. Never hung out, but every year hunting season, texting back and forth from the tree stand. And then he invites me on this moose hunt. His brother wasn't able to go on, so it was his father, him, and myself. And as I was getting ready for this moose hunt, I had stopped watching all hunting videos on television. We put on things like the Bucks of Tecomate. Love Jeff Foxworthy, but they're sitting on a ranch in South Texas, and they're like, "Oh, we're going for clippers," and the dinner bell goes off, the feed shoots out, 18 bucks walk out, they're all 200-inch deer, and you hear the dramatic music, the camera in front of the muzzle, the camera back on him, the deer out there, and off of a tripod from an air-conditioned blind, boom, and then grip and grin, and yeah. I was like, this isn't how I hunt. I hunt Northeast PA, southern tier of New York. We grind, we struggle, we don't have feeders, and we don't have deer that look like that. So, final straw when I finally turned it off was a guy, Larry Weishen. He probably isn't even alive anymore. But the guy wasn't a hunter. I don't know how they ever got this guy, but he's running around with a revolver and his big clunky tripod, bling, bling, bling. And I'm like, that's completely unrealistic. First of all, you're not walking around the woods here without snow and not scaring everything off from a million miles away. And then the final episode I ever watched, he was like, "Oh, people said I couldn't do this in PA." So he's just banging through the woods, and he sets up, and this deer's just sitting there looking at him. And I'm like, I've been hunting for 30 years now. That's never happened in my life. And he shoots this buck that doesn't even look like a Pennsylvania buck. And I'm like, he's got to be on a ranch. And then in the credits, it's Tioga County. If you're from PA, you know it's in Tioga County. They're high fenced hunts. They ring the dinner bell, deer walks out, you shoot it, bang. He was full of shit, so I was done. But gearing up for this moose hunt I got invited to, I had never been up to Newfoundland. I was excited. And I ran into these videos from a guy called the Modern Day Mountain Man, Billy Moles. And Billy shares my Christian values and beliefs. And his videos were great. It wasn't that 30-second kill shot. It was a whole experience. He had water trickling, them living in a tent, talking to the guys. And I was like, you know what? I want to capture that moment just like Billy did. And I want to make my own video. So I borrowed a video camera. We went to Newfoundland, and it was this trip where I'd never been on one of these. And we flew in, and we stayed in this little cabin with no electricity, no running water. And I ended up getting a Boone and Crockett moose. Rudy here. Just a trip of a lifetime. And we got back. It was PA archery season, New York archery season. And I got my biggest New York bow buck, which for me was huge. It was about 127 inches. He's actually mounted over there. And then I got I think he's officially 119, a PA bow buck. So I came off the season and I was on such a high. And I took to the internet to look for something to fill that emptiness. The season ended and I wanted to keep it going. And I found a podcast called Hunt R. Hunter, but it's Hunt, no E, an R. Two guys, the one's about my age, the other one's probably 10 years younger, from Western PA. And they were just like me. They were other bow hunters. They knew the PA struggle. They had some property in Ohio. It sounds like access to bigger deer, but generally the same belief. I really enjoyed it. I went all the way back to their first video, and at the time I was driving back and forth to Ohio a lot, and it was great. I listened to all these podcasts, and I ran into another one called Hunter's Advantage. Two younger guys from, I think, Texas and Oklahoma. Uh, they were kind of finding things, but they had some great hunting footage. They had an interview with the Prince of Poachers, Charles Beatty, which, as much as I don't like poaching, his stories are just so wild. They're very entertaining. And then, now they have their podcast, and great guys that are communicating. And as I started thinking about it, and you can tell you, I wasn't loving teaching anymore. The school was changing. He actually left the school right before I did.
The kids were awful.
The kids are kids, but
Yeah.
the post-COVID students had been difficult. The post-COVID administration was terrible. And I'm retired. I live on a pension. I was like, this is the time I want to break into this industry. How am I getting no one wants to see the deer I kill in PA, and I kill $2 a year, maybe 5 or 6 doe between 2 or 3 states. What's going to be? And I've been processing my own deer since the beginning, since my first deer in 95, 96, 3-point archery kill. And I've been doing my buddies, and then I was like, you know what? I can do this. Work around my schedule. And another thing that happened when I went on my moose hunt, there were some things I didn't like. And one of them was the trip we went on. One of the members of our party shouldn't have gone on it. He was a little bit older, a little bit overweight, and he asked the questions that were the right questions. Do they have Argos? Do they have four-wheelers? Do they have boats? How am I going to be able to get around? I have bad knees. I'm not in the best shape. And they were salesmen. They wanted to sell that trip. At no point did they stand up and they're like, hey, no. And now that I've gone on these different trips to Alaska, New Mexico, and Montana, I started realizing a lot of these people, they want to sell their hunt. This is how they make a living. They don't care who goes on it. Success rate's good for them, but the biggest thing is to sell, sell, sell. And my friend Jake, he goes on 2, 3, sometimes 4 of these a year. He's been everywhere. And everyone that I've gone on, we've had complaints, the things that we didn't like. So I was like, I can do this, and I don't care if I don't sell. I want to put people on a trip that's going to be best for them. A trip that they can be successful, they can enjoy, just a perfect trip. And I don't depend on the income from it. So if you want to book a trip and you want one that you tell me how old you are, what kind of shape you're in, what you're looking for, I'm going to match you with the trip. Like the trip we just took to Montana, most of the guys had never hunted mule deer before. 3 of them were in their late 60s and had cancer. They weren't worried about getting Boone and Crockett mule deer. I have a place in New Mexico. If you want a 200-inch mule deer, you're going to get one. But your success rate is probably, I'm telling you right now, it's less, and you're going to have to work harder. We went 6 for 6 in Montana. Brilliant. We were all happy. You see some of the posts on YouTube. You're shooting these babies. Well, you know what? I was reading that post while I was eating the roast I made in my crock pot, and it was delicious. So the whole idea about what we're doing now, before getting long-winded, advertising for my butcher shop and for my business of outdoor consulting. And we had a long trip to Idaho.
Yeah, that was a crazy story in itself. The way that it went down, January of 2025, we were actually on a pheasant hunt together with my dog Henry. And we were warming up in this little hut, and he says to me, "What are you doing in September?" I was like, "I don't know, probably whatever you're about to ask me." And then he was like, "You want to go to Idaho elk hunting with me?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So then the rest is history, and then just training until then.
Yeah, so gearing up, and while we were talking, we spent basically 2 weeks doing nothing but talking about hunting.
Yeah,
and we just had a lot of talk about Newt was a competitive shooter. What's it called? Rifle?
Rifle team, yep.
I gotta admit, he's one of the best natural shooters I've ever seen. And that was fun coming in. I remember as a teacher, he comes running in. What was it? 178 yards with iron sights and a World War II gun. Like,
yeah. On a big 8-point, 175 yards away with iron sights. Old Swedish Mauser. I think it was made in 1925, but that was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then he got we have a video up of him talking about right across the street here, which he knows well because I bought this house for his family. Got the biggest buck in the neighborhood with a flintlock, and it just, so we were talking about these things, and we're both archers, we're both shooters. We bird hunt, we skeet shoot, we pistol shoot, we do everything. We love to fish, and so I was like, oh, let's start a podcast, and at the end of it, kind of like, hey, if you're in Coopersburg, 5C, or nearby PA, you want to bring a deer over, or if you want to book any of these hunts. Would love to get you going, but some of the stuff we could talk about. Every podcast wants to bring on celebrities. I get it. They draw names, but Mark Drury, he's incredible. But Mark Drury is not who I want to have on my podcast. I want to have the local guys from the area or the average Joe to talk about their best hunt. Because I've heard Mark Drury on everything and everything he has to say. Great guy. Not who I'm going for. I'm just picking him arbitrarily. But I want to bring on local people and talk about things like, you go on the internet, you have a lot of people, the 6.5 need more, and you need a 300 Win Mag, or my FOC on my arrow has to be a hand grenade, and my arrow whatever you want. So talking about different things, and also the gear review. We did one. The audio is bad, we'll redo it, but we talk about the best vinyl harness. It's Kuiu. The best boot to wear, not Kuiu. These are things that are battle tested from, like I said, our trips, our experiences, and most of what we focus on is going to be here in the Northeast. But we want to bring in that excitement of people. We want to do his little brother who got his first bow buck this year.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was incredible.
He came in squealing like a little girl.
Yeah.
Just
He's so giddy.
It was awesome.
It was only an 11-point. It was just like a spike. It was like a really tall spike.
PA 11-pointer.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it measured gross 18.
Somewhere around there.
But just a really cool experience. I want to bring that excitement back to the Hunter podcast. That was Jared and Jeremy. No, it wasn't Jeremy. It was the other one. Jared. He went out west and he shot just a massive buck at a million points. I think it was like a 15-pointer or something. And their best podcast, 100%, was him talking about this hunt. And he was just the excitement he conveyed, and I was like, that's what I want. An 11-pointer is not a booner.
No.
But it was awesome. That kid was so happy. And between us and our friends and family and people we know, I think we could bring some interesting guests. And if we don't have guests, we're just going to talk about what we know, which is guns and archery and fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of hidden gems out there with those stories. That's why we're mainly focusing on interviewing like friends and family. I know my granddad has some absolutely nuts stories. I'm going to have to get him on here sometime.
The bucks on your granddad's wall for this area of Pennsylvania is incredible.
Crazy. And he shot them all in the 80s, which is even crazier. But there's a lot of hidden gems out there. We're not doing this to make money or anything like that. We're doing this because it's what gets us excited, and we believe it gets you guys excited, so we want to share that experience.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about equipment or anything. We're on my own sponsors. So when I tell you, like we both shoot Matthews, I shoot the Lift X.
Lift RS.
Yep. Lift RS. It's a great bow. I'm not telling you need a Matthews. I have the Elite Carbon Arrow downstairs. I don't love it. I have the Matthews V3. I do love it. I have my Martin Moab. That's almost 20 years old now. Still love it. And I've got all my recurves, which I'm a big recurve guy too. I love my recurves. But I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm going to Tell you straight. And, you know, you go on, like, I love the 6.5 Creedmoor. It sits next to my 300 PRC in the safe. They're both beautiful guns, and I grab my 7mm every time I go out into the woods. He was a 7mm victim. I probably can't see it, but actually got a Boone and Crockett pronghorn with the 6.5. My biggest buck ever, I got the 6.5. I love the 6.5. It's a great flat shooting gun. Hits hard, does everything you need it to do. To be fair, I've only killed, I think, 4 deer with it. It's done its job. I usually use my 7mm, which is a lot more gun than you need for a PA deer, but it's my trusty Dusty. What are you, you're using a 308, right?
I use 308, yeah. Yep.
Basically similar to a 6.5, but
Yeah.
people will swear by it because it's a 30 cal.
It's a little bit heavier, but
And even like we'll get into it more, but like, you know, people, anytime you look on the internet, I think 30-30 and 30-6. The only I was talking to my dad about it. I've never wounded a deer with a gun.
Yeah.
Just I'm not that good, just that lucky. I've wounded deer with a bow and arrow, a couple, but the only deer, the deer I shot with a 30-30, I was like, this gun sucks.
Yeah.
Given this was 30 years ago and the ammo's changed a lot, but shot it, perfect shot, and the deer ran like 100 yards and got to it, and it was a hard shot, but basically the bullet went in and stuck. It didn't do much, and I shot another one. I hit 4 times. It didn't go very far, but I was wrapped. I thought I was missing because it wasn't going down, and I had never experienced that with the firearm. And the 30-6, I know it's a great. I shot 2 beautiful stags with it. Shot a 300-pound pig with the 30-6. Every time I've shot, it's been a great gun. But I see more people wound with the 30-6 than any other caliber.
Yeah.
Just taking shots they shouldn't.
Yep, exactly. It's more about shot placement than caliber, honestly. But
same thing with the bow. A lot of crossbow hunters now think because their crossbow is going 400 feet per second and sighted at 100 yards, they should take that shot. Yeah. I already been out shed hunting, and I found a lot of wounded deer. Well, not wounded, unrecovered deer. They go into bed stuff, and the one was pretty crazy. I saw it stand. I found the bolt, and you can see the trajectory where he shot probably at a deer 70 yards away. He hit the deer. Never found his bolt. I found it, but I did find the deer. Maybe it wasn't the same deer. I can't guarantee it, but stand, bolt, 130 yards in, dead deer.
Yeah. But then again, we're not experts on absolutely everything, but we've been around this a while. I've been hunting since I was, I've been going out since I was 3 or 4 years old with my granddad. Just him, hauling me along. This is what I grew up around. It's what I enjoy. It's what I love. It's more of a lifestyle than a hobby for me personally. And I know he's the same way. He's been hunting for longer than I've been on this earth. So
a lot longer.
A lot longer.
So yeah, probably started going out dad when I was 2 or 3. So I've got over 40 years in the woods, and I feel comfortable in the woods. Yes, it's just where we're home. So what we're gonna do, I said basically we're gonna try to come on every Monday night and have something to talk about. If you want to follow us, that's great. If you don't, that's great too. We'll share our pearls of wisdom. We're obviously going to be finding our stride. You can even tell from my videos, my first moose hunting video, looks like a 3rd grader made it. The video I'm putting out yesterday, I had our trip to Idaho. You're like, wow, this is really well done, in my opinion. But getting much better. Got a good camera, got microphones. We're kind of going about it, but we're not trying to be pigeonholed as just bow hunters. I do a lot of gun hunting too. Yeah. And his dad guides birds.
All the time.
His little brother is addicted to fishing.
Yeah.
He might need to go into rehab.
Yeah. You can't keep that kid out of the woods. I remember. Season's done with now, but over this hunting season, I can count times on my hand that he wasn't out hunting after school. Like, he's always out.
Yeah,
he's always out.
He's in the woods.
But, yeah.
And it's funny because when I go in the woods now, I find all your old stuff that you guys have been.
Really? That's
I
funny.
found his hat and
Yeah.
it's funny because bullet holes. I'm like, I'm shooting a squirrel here. Oh yeah, but yeah. So every Monday, we're gonna have different friends and family on. We're gonna talk about different things. Right now, we've got some gear review ones. Boots we want to talk about. Vinyl harnesses. We have no brand loyalty whatsoever. He likes Sitka.
I love Sitka. The Sitka vinyl harness is absolute dog shit. Just gonna say it.
I don't like Sitka stuff at all. I know Kuyu just got bought out. Their original stuff was incredible. It's expensive.
Yeah.
You know, I still use a lot of Walmart hunting gear.
Yeah.
But we're going to give you honest and fair reviews, and we use a lot of different things from Kuyu, Eberly stock, Sitka, Rocky, Frog Tug.
Yeah. Walmart clearance section.
A lot of Cabela stuff. Bow hunting, I wear scent lock. I know people, oh, that doesn't work. All right. We'll go into that in another video, but I'm pretty sure you people who play the wind, even if the wind's blowing this way, Newton doesn't want me to rip a fart right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. But anyway, hope to bring you some good material. And if you are in Coopersburg, got what, a couple days left?
Yeah.
We're still taking deer in, doing Euro mounts, processing, and yeah, this is the time of year, if you're looking to book a trip, we've got some great ones. The Great American Outdoor Show is in a couple weeks. It's overwhelming. You'll see 15 different outfitters for Newfoundland alone. But if you want to come home with a buddy who looks like that,
Exactly.
that's what they'll sell you, but that's not what you're gonna get.
Now's the time to book and start doing the cardio.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you.
On the rugged road where the wild winds blow, through the mountains high where the rivers flow, with the sun in the sky and my family by my side, we're chasing dreams on this hunting ride. Out in the wild where the heart feels free, with the ones I love, that's where I'll always be. Through the woods so deep and the sky so wide, we're living life